The information is presented for educational purposes only, is not intended to diagnose or prescribe for any medical or psychological condition, or to prevent, treat, mitigate, or cure such conditions. This information is only presented herein for entertainment and educational purposes only. Living Waters Wellness Center was formed after we discovered how to heal my own body from the multiple symptoms, including allergies, asthma, chronic fatigue, back pain, psoriasis, acne, hives, yeast infections, and finally, cancer. After 20 years of trying numerous different treatments, everything from medical to cleanses, iridology, muscle therapy, acupuncture, acupressure, homeopathy, naturopathy. These experiences led us to discover the recipe that became known as the 4 Natural Laws of Healing, combining multiple natural healing modalities to fully detox, cleanse the body, and then allowing the body to take the perfect nutrition to fully restore the body back to its innate health. This became known as the 10-Day Healing Retreat. We have helped thousands of people just like you get their health restored so they can live their life to the fullest extent. If you want to know what that looks like, go to livingwaterscleanse.com and click on the video 4 Natural Laws of Healing, or call the office at 208-378-9911. Good morning, everyone. David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center, livingwaterscleanse.com, and your host of the Whole Body Detox Show. Thank you for being with us today. Living Waters Wellness Center is Idaho's largest colon hydrotherapy center and known for its 10-day cleanse and healing retreat. Each week, we provide you with the necessary education and tools to detox and heal the body naturally, following the 4 Natural Laws of Healing. To learn more details about the 4 Natural Laws of Healing, go to livingwaterscleanse.com. Click on the link, 4 Natural Laws of Healing. If you miss any parts of this show or want to re-listen to certain segments, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, Whole Body Detox Show. It's found on any national platform, Apple, Spotify, and all the rest, or wholebodydetoxshow.com. And today, you may want to definitely bookmark that because we're going to talk a lot of information. As you know, guys, I've been working in the wireless protection area, trying to get community governments to properly place towers in the right place so they're not driving us insane and causing all the harm. So today I brought in Ming Lovejoy. Just a little bit about Ming. She's a certified health coach, wireless educator, entrepreneur, and speaker. Ming is a passionate wellness and wireless safety advocate who has lived her message and is dedicated to empowering others. She speaks about how our 21st century Wi-Fi world affects our health. And Ming, I want to bring you on, and I just want to ask you, how in the heck did you get involved with this technology? Because it's one of those things, you've been involved a long time. I think more people are aware today than they were, say, 5 years ago, and definitely 10, 20 years ago. No one thought that this was a problem, including me. How'd you get here? Welcome to the show, by the way.
Well, thank you. It's so wonderful to be here. I just am an admirer of yours and all of the things you do. And I can't believe how you do it all and give so much and have such impact. So thank you for having me. I will share that it was 20 years ago, I do believe, because it was 20 years ago when it was actually 30 years ago, when I was pregnant with my first daughter. And my husband and I had moved to the boonies of Northern California because we wanted to heal our bodies and live naturally and grow our own food. And there we were doing kind of a sustainable living project, growing organic food. And my job was working at a preschool in town in a home that was right next to a power transformer station.
Oh my.
Yeah. And the gal who owned the preschool was also an organic grower. And she and I looked at each other. We were taking care of these young 2 to 4 year olds, and we knew that something was up with it. But just like most things go, until something really affects us, right? Until it really hits home, we don't necessarily do anything about it. So what happened was I got pregnant with my first child. And I knew that there was something up with this, and felt like I needed to know like right away, because here I had cells replicating really fast, and I knew that they were somehow, we'd all known even in the 80s and 90s that it wasn't good to live next door to a power station, right? Or near high power lines, and that, that was connected with kids getting leukemia and some problems. So I just got my hands on all the research I could, a book by Dr. Robert O. Becker called Cross Currents. And it's a fabulous book. The Perils of Electropollution the promise of electromedicine. So that carries in it the seed of what we're doing now, using frequencies, native frequencies, natural frequencies that help actually heal the body and counteract the effects, the negative effects of, these man-made frequencies. So I actually, with, what I read, I quit my job because I knew it could be affecting my growing baby and I didn't want any problems there. And I really dug into the research, and I just thought at that time it was 1991, and I just figured, you know what, to heck with the rest of the world. I'm not ever going to do that internet cell phone thing. So I will just, and cell phones, there were barely any back then, but we're just going to live in the woods and raise our kids. So fast forward.
Not everyone can do that, though. Not everyone can go off and live in the woods. I know some people who are, not everyone can go off and live in the woods and get away from the technology. I know some people who have to, which is quite sad, but here we are needing to work and exist in this technological world that's causing us harm.
Well, it's true. And there we were living in the woods, but this little small town of, 2,500 people still had power transformer stations and still had buildings right next to those. So depending on where you were, where you are, and of course it's just magnified now. So, and that's kind of where we're getting to. But so fast forward, it was, I think, in the sort of mid 2000s or mid, 2008, 2009, I was searching for solutions because there we were, we had, we were connected, internet, we had cell phones, and I had 3 young kids. And I was like, what am I going to do to protect them and protect us? And that's when I was introduced to the technologies that Geo Wellness provides. And to this day, I've been with this company since then. To this day, I've looked at every technology out there, and there still is no more comprehensive, versatile, affordable solutions that really address electropollution in our environment, electropollution on our devices, and electropollution as it affects our bodies. So that's why we're here today, I think, right?
Right. We know, and what's interesting about this, and it's a problem, is that it's invisible. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you don't know, number one. Number two, you can't see it coming at you. There's probably, I'm estimating, or other people have estimated 10 to 15% of the population know it. It does affect all of us. But some are, my buddy Hank, he's been in AFib 18 times. And now in Boise, where they're putting 5G towers everywhere, 20 feet from the home, blasting out this radiation, there's more people, young people going into AFib. The local hospital here has reported to him, it used to be you could get him for a surgery if you needed it within 6 weeks. Now they're out 18 months.
Yeah.
So if you're having, your heart rate has went from 70 beats, and now it's you go into your house where you live and it's beating at 160 beats, or you think it's just going to pop out of your chest. What do you do? I mean, Hank shielded his home. He did all the things. Got the special paint up the walls, put the screens on the windows. Did all this stuff, and still he cannot go in certain rooms in that house. And this tower is 2,000 feet from his home. It's not close. It's not 20 feet. It's 2,000 feet. But the power, we've measured the power. The power is absolutely insane, because cell providers want to put as much data on those to haul as they can. And that's the problem.
And you really have encapsulated it. And it's 3 to 5% of the population now can identify as being electro hypersensitive, and that is sensitive to all forms of electromagnetic, the low frequencies, the higher frequencies, the dirty electricity, all of it. But it's really as many as 35% of us who are having reactions to it, negative responses to it, but we just haven't connected the dots.
35%. That's what it is.
And we know it can affect our, cognitive function, whether it hits us with brain fog or, our skin rashes and skin issues. Of course, headaches, muscle aches and pains, blood sugar, asthma, allergies, all of those things. The way it affects us, it is these non-native frequencies. So there are native frequencies. Those are the energy that comes from the trees and the grass and the woods. And that's why when we go out in nature, David, we can go out and go for a vigorous hike and come back refreshed and energized. But we sit in front of our computer all day or in a wireless environment and we're exhausted, right?
Right. No, true.
It's because these frequencies are a certain pattern that your body doesn't know. The cells of your body, and you're a community of maybe 70 trillion cells, literally those cells do not know how to interpret. So each cell has glycoproteins on it. It's like, I say, it's like the robot in Lost in Space. You know, he was able to detect danger before. So before little Will Robinson was able to detect it. But these glycoproteins on your cell, the cell membrane, pick up on your wireless, your home automation system, your Bluetooth speakers, your smart meter, your car stereo, all of that stuff. And it registers an immediate cellular stress response. And that stress response looks like hardening of the cell membrane, reduction of the amount of energy that's produced, or ATP, in the mitochondria, less cell-to-cell communication. So cell-to-cell communication isn't as good. Also, it affects the ability of your cells to repair. And it actually, we know it does DNA damage as well. So there's just a lot of, that's kind of a picture of what's going on. How that relates to whether somebody has an asthma attack and somebody else gets cancer really has to do with, what I call our unique vulnerabilities, right? And I think it all comes back to the importance of taking, and this is what you do and how you serve your community and the world, and the impact you have is helping people take personal responsibility for their well-being and get educated, connect the dots between their exposure and the symptoms that they're having.
Well, that's why you're on here today, because I want to bring you on as the expert to educate people. I want to talk about what are the things we need to remove from our world. What are the things how can we mitigate the damage, some of the devices that Gia Wellness provides, and get that information out there. I mean, the other day I walked into a bank and here's a gal, she's got a Bluetooth in her ear, Bluetooth speaker. And I said, you want to know what that's doing to you? And she goes, oh no, what? I says, well, you put 2 of those on, plus your cell phone in your body, you're getting hit 3 ways. And she just looked at me like, ugh, really? But they're so convenient. There's no wires. I says, well, if you like brain cancer, keep it up. But I got some, I'll sell you. I got some extras if you want to buy more. Because I've got 3 or 4 in my drawer that I thought it was kind of cool technology back in the day. And then I got a meter. I got this, for those of you listening on the radio, you can get meters. There's meters out there. The one that we've been using that was very accurate is called Safe and Sound Pro 2. I think it's an investment about $350, $400. But I tell you, when I show people, when they come in here to the clinic, we get the number one problem coming into this clinic, besides constipation, is brain fog. Brain fog is a symptom, and that can be caused by constipation, but it's also caused by what you mentioned, the electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic frequencies.
David, one thing I wanted to say, and I learned this quite a few years ago from a naturopathic doctor who I think he might have had a colon thing. But one of the things is, where do we hold our cell phones? We hold our cell phones in our hand, and that's right near the triple warmer meridian. So it does affect literally every meridian in our body, and actually affects colon health as well. So
yeah, no, it's a big deal. But most people are, we've got locked onto these phones, and we were at a broadband task force meeting for the state of Idaho the other day, and there's people out in the they're out in the woods, right? And they need wireless, because we're in a wireless world. They're not wireless. They want the back that up. They don't want wireless. They want the technology to be able to communicate and do things on the internet. Ideally, we want fiber optics in the ground to the premises. That's what we're advocating for.
That's what we want.
Everywhere. We've all paid for it.
And fiber optics is a more reliable signal. So
way more reliable, way faster. And these guys talk, well, it's a lot less money to go the last mile with towers. We want to put up towers. State of Idaho, give us your money to put up these towers. And we can beam that up, these things. And the problem is, as Dr. Martin Paul, we go back to episode number 59 with Dr. Martin Paul on the podcast. Here's a guy that's testified in front of the National Institute of Health, and he doesn't even own a cell phone. And he says, David, my next paper I'm writing right now is to prove that the reason why these forest fires explode to such a degree is because the towers that are now all over our forests turn up the amount of terpenes in the trees. That's like putting gas on it. So now you get just a little fire going, all of a sudden you get poof, you get a big fire. And he's writing that paper right now. The other thing that depressed me about his interview was the fact that, he was driving across Eastern Washington last summer, and he says, David, there are no bugs on my windshield like there was in the old days. Our pollinators are being killed. My friend Hank, who lives out in Eagle, Idaho, got a little farm out there. He had bees, had some fruit trees. Fruit trees now do not pollinate, killed all the bees. They were alive one day and they turned the tower on. Next day, bees were dead. We cannot sustain long-term as a society without bees, period, end of story. We will be extinct shortly. So we got to change it.
We really do. And there are ways, and thank you for sharing these really, really important truths. And one of the things, and I think one of the reasons you invited me on is I'm an optimist. I actually do believe that we create really, really serious and dire problems for ourselves. And then we come up with the solutions to get ourselves out of that. I don't know if we lived through the 60s and cleaning up our air and our water. So I do believe it's possible with that as well before it's too late. And I'm going to hold to that. And that's why I'm outspoken about what it is we can do. Actually, I do think that beehives need these technologies and these products that counteract and safeguard that we're going to be talking about today.
We're going to that today. So guys, hey, as you're listening today, we're going to have a little checklist. You can go to the website, livingwaterscleanse.com. And there's going to be a top 10 checklist to see how much you are exposed to this, and you want to go over there and reach out to that. It's going to be under the treatments tab, and it should say at the bottom there, electromagnetic frequencies, how to protect yourself from electromagnetic frequencies, or something like that. Anyway, so you went smartly, intuitively. You got smart. You says like moved away from that. We do know how bad these substations cause problems. And we've seen that here in the clinic. We've had people with the mysterious illness, and they're still, even though they're going through our cleanse, they're still not quite 100%. We start digging into it, and sure enough, they're next to an electrical substation, or they've got, other things, or a cell tower. Yeah. We had a young kid the other day, and the poor kid, he works all day long using a cell phone rather than a laptop or a computer. And this kid is, 25 years old. He was sick. I says, dude. And not only that, but he's got a tower outside his door. He's getting hammered every which way. I said, you have to move, and you need to get off that cell phone. You can't do that all day long. Yeah, pretty incredible. Okay, so let's just talk about the things that we need to be aware of. Let's dive into that, and we're talking about how the solution for that. So what are some of the things that we need to be aware of that are in our homes today?
So think about any man-made frequencies versus natural frequencies. So what we call ELF radiation, which is the extremely low or long frequencies from, broadcasting from your big screen TV and other electronics, RF or radio frequencies, that includes Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Your Wi-Fi router is one of the most toxic things in your home. And you said it earlier, if you could see it, if we could see if these things emitted smoke, like the way, if they look like they were on fire, like toxic smog, then we might do something about it, but it's all invisible. So your wireless router is a big offender. And the other thing to remember about your wireless router is that your wireless router is probably on 24/7, which means you're getting email. Every cell of your body is getting email 24/7, whether you're on your laptop computer or not.
Wow.
Cell phones, and also, smartphones, smart watches, car stereos, all your smart TVs, anything smart is not smart. It's really pretty dumb. Wireless cameras, wireless printers, all of that, home office electronics, because so many of us are working from home now. Then there's electric fields from household wiring and electronic devices. Those are everything from your refrigerator to your dishwasher, to your stove, that kind of thing. And magnetic fields from household wiring. Now, magnetic fields and household wiring, it used to be that there were just, a few wires and a few outlets in homes many, many years ago. Now think about our the way we've upped that to, tenfold, so that we've got, much more access, for wiring and electronic devices. So that's big. And your kitchen appliances are both electric and magnetic fields. So that's both. And then there's dirty electricity. And, that's from household wiring and electronic devices. That's also from power lines. I notice now, especially with all the growth, you're in Idaho, I'm in Montana. There's so much growth. They're building now near all the power lines. And I just think of these families and people in those homes. Well, the dirty electricity is really erratic spikes in the electrical wiring, or in the electrical energy that runs through the electrical wiring in our homes. And it has these spikes. And we're on alternating current. So what happens is that has been shown to be connected to health problems, everything from sleep disturbances to fatigue to headaches to chronic aches and pains and muscle, asthma, cognitive disturbances and anxiety, even learning problems for kids, and even cancer. So that's basically what we're looking at, is all of these what are called NN, or non-native electromagnetic fields, radio frequencies, extremely low frequencies, and 5G. We'll talk about that for a minute. That actually is the higher frequencies. That's in the same band as well. And one of the things, and you brought it up earlier, thank you for bringing that up, David, about how important it is to campaign for fiber optic, which is in the ground cables that will actually are faster, more reliable internet and connectivity. Well, what these towers do is they broadcast these very high frequencies that have never been tested for safety, broadcast like a smog, because they just want to make sure not to miss anything. So those high frequencies are also part of this whole spectrum.
Yes, these frequent, and one of the we were contesting a tower, and the lawyer for the applicant says, yeah, we need to jam this tower or these frequencies into the cars and into the homes. And I'm thinking, like, now you're putting a pollution into my home that either I may not want, and I certainly don't deserve it, because I don't want to have my body, be a wreck, all these problems you cause. But here's this belief that we got to do everything wirelessly now. It does seem convenient. It is convenient, right? You can get cell phone calls anywhere you're at. But we didn't used to live that way. We got along just fine. But when the head of the former president of Microsoft Canada, Frank Clegg, do you know how much wireless he has in his home? None. He's hardwired his home. So the iPads, hardwired. Laptops, hardwired. Phones, hardwired. So you can actually connect your cell phone, guys, hardwire them to your router that goes out through the modem, so you don't have to have wireless technology. Our mayor here wants to spend $300,000 plus, because he's got that ARPA money from the federal government, right, to put, get this, Wi-Fi in all of our parks. And you know what the justification was? Well, it's kind of, we have these big events, we need some Wi-Fi. And it's just really annoying to have to take it, put it up, and then take it down. And, they talk about the cost. My premise is, it's not the cost of putting it in. The long-term cost is the damage done to us. And this state has, got a Medicare issue. They told us it only costs us $30 million a year in 2018. And we are, I think, over $100 million a year. It's grown. It's going to grow faster. And if we get more people sick with AFib and brain fog, and they're going in cancers and all this stuff, that's going to rise exponentially. So that's why I'm advocating, let's take the investment. If it costs us an extra, $100 million to, put fiber optics in the ground, let's do it. Even coaxial cable is faster than these towers in download speed. 5G is not that fast, and 5G is not working. These small test cells are not working very good on the little monopole ones. They're not working well. But yet, they think, oh, we got to have these. So when people are at the football game, they can download a movie and watch a movie at the football game. That was one of the justifications by our government on why we needed this. How insane is that? That's insanity. Holy hell. Okay. Hey, what about baby monitors? Should you have a baby monitor?
Oh, baby monitors. We've got a brand new grandchild, and they're not doing the baby monitor thing. Those, actually, I've got a great story with one of the Gia products. This was many years ago. One of my consultants in a tiny town, about 60 miles north of us, a tiny town of like 2,500 people. She was treating a baby, a 2-month-old baby. The parents kept bringing the baby in, saying the baby won't sleep. The baby can't sleep. The baby doesn't sleep. And she asked this young couple, she said, do you have a baby monitor? And to go, oh yeah, of course. We've got it right next to the baby's crib or bed or whatever. And, the monitors around. So she gave her the Universal Guard. I'll just show you. That's what this little fellow is.
Yeah.
The Gia Universal Guard, which has the patented radiation shielding material called molecular resonance effect technology, plus energy resonance technology that virtually just camouflages it to the body so the body doesn't mount a stress response. Put the Universal Guard on the baby monitor and the baby started sleeping.
Wow. So say that again, that's MRET. Explain that again. What's MRET?
It's called molecular resonance effect technology. And it's one of Gia's, I just want to say, one of Gia's superpowers. It's really the technology that when I was first introduced to this company, I've not seen any other patented or any other technologies, and most other technologies aren't patented anyway, that work the way this does. It is a patented noise field that picks up on the radiation. So it's actually in the form of a polymer inside of, can you see the little holes?
Yeah, we can see that.
Inside of this, the Universal Guard is a patented polymer. That polymer is stimulated by electromagnetic fields, all of them, everything from ELF to microwave 5G. And what it does is it starts to oscillate and emits a counteractive wave of natural sort of randomized frequencies. Randomized frequencies are what we find in nature. They're not consistent staccato like we get from our technology. So it superimposes these randomized frequencies over the staccato frequencies from the radio frequency or the electromagnetic fields, and it completely camouflages it to the body. So your body doesn't mount a stress response. And they've done this. The technology has been patented in the United States and outside of the United States as well, international patents as a radiation shielding material and device. It's been tested and studied at over 13 research labs and universities around the world to find that it reduces specific absorption rate, over 90% of the radiation into the tissues of your body. And I can show some pictures too as well, but also restores your red blood cells that are really affected by the electromagnetic fields. I don't know, do you do any live blood microscopy or just some of your—
We don't do that, but I want to mention for those of you listening on the radio, we're going to put the pictures of the difference when you use a technology versus not, and when you put a cell phone to your head. That's going to be on the website. And also, if you want to shop for these devices, we're going to share with you. It's at livingwaterscleanse.com in the store. But to go over and just see some of this information, get your top 10 checklist, go to livingwaterscleanse.com, click on treatments, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see electromagnetic frequency, and learn how to protect this. And like she mentioned, this little button, it's like a little button. It's about the size of a button, isn't it? It's a thick button.
It is. It's about the size of between a dime and a nickel. And it can, of course, I have it here on this, I just pulled it to show you. Right. I've got one on my computer. I've got them on all my appliances in my kitchen in my home.
Right.
Even on my jetted tub, but I definitely have them all throughout.
Right. In 1992, we moved into the house that we now live in. My wife called Idaho Power and had them come out and measure all the different devices. So we measured the dishwashers, we measured the vacuum cleaners, we measured refrigerators. I mean, she had hair dryers. Hair dryers really freaked us out. It was
Oh,
like,
huge.
what? Yeah, it was incredible. So
You said hair dryers. Yeah, that's a big one. And I don't know, but I had read something on the statistics of hairdressers. You think how much time they spend holding the blow dryer and
curling irons.
And the incidences of breast cancer.
Right.
High.
So we have the devices on our computers, my screens. I got the devices everywhere. Should I have it on the telephone? My manual telephone?
Yes.
Yeah.
You on your manual telephone.
A
and
landline telephone? Yeah.
Your landline as well.
Yeah.
Now that would be I would recommend the universal guard for your landline. For your cell phone, of course,
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, so we've covered, I mean, guys, if you're listening today, we'll have the list on the website, livingwaterscleanse.com. So you can go over and just say, hey, these are the things I should be aware of. There'll be a long list there and things you need to be made aware of so that you can protect it. Protection is actually pretty cheap. So we're going to get into that here right now. So let's talk about, number one thing that people are carrying around in their pocket and is the cell phone. What do we do for that cell phone? Holy moly.
Well, it's the same combination of technologies, this patented molecular resonance effect technology. And I think we kind of skipped over it, but the second technology that is in these guards that makes them so unique and so different from anything else out there is that there is a body armor component, which we call energy resonance technology. And then there's the missile defense system for EMF, and that's what we call the molecular resonance effect technology. So if you imagine a medieval knight in his armor and he's got his arrow, going out for a fight, the energy resonance technology in these guards. So even when it's on my cell phone, right? The energy resonance technology is feeding and nourishing and strengthening the matrix of my body's energetic field, my biofield. So it's keeping it strong and robust by feeding it good, nourishing, healthy frequencies. And then the molecular resonance effect technology is going to work as the missile defense system. So that is as the arrows of EMF are coming and generating from here and coming at me, sort of attacking me. This is emitting that counteractive camouflaging wave, which basically cuts off the damaging effect. So that's how the technology is working. So absolutely essential on a cell phone. And what I've, I taught my kids from the beginning, started them young, of course, is that, you wear your seatbelt in the car, you brush your teeth at night, and you put a guard on your phone no matter what. So now they're in their 30s.
And these guards, guys, for those of you on the radio listening to this or on the podcast, these guards are about the size of a nickel, and they're very thin. They're and so how long does these things last? We put one on and they last the rest of our lives or not?
Well, on the cell phone, the sliver, this is the flat version. As you can see, it's got no profile at all. This is the most popular version, and you do need to replace them every year. So they last for a year and give you full-on protection. And the reason is because one of the technologies is the one that gets used up. The other technologies still work. So the part of the technology, but not the missile defense system. So it's good to replace them each year. And I will say you can use them on all kinds of devices. This is my key fob.
Oh, key fobs. Yeah, there's another thing beeping out at you all day, carrying your content.
And another thing too is just, if you've got little battery chargers for your, your phones and your devices, there are lots of places and uses for that cell guard sliver. The sliver is also something you can use on, like a small, like an iPad, as long as you double it up. Otherwise, on computers, laptops, wireless routers, you're going to want to use the universal guard. Those last for 3 years, David.
Oh, awesome to know that. I did. Okay. So guys, again, it's about the size of a nickel. The ones you put on a computer are a little thicker, or on your MacBook, so forth. And costs are about what, $43.50 each, I think.
Yeah, $43.90.
Yeah. So very affordable. I had the cell phone case. I had the whole case. The case cost me $65 for the case for my iPhone. And so I have that technology. And one of the things too, guys, just be sure when you look at your phone, you've got a hotspot antenna, you've got a Bluetooth, you got a Wi-Fi. Turn all those off if you're not using them, because you don't want everything pulsing at you. And then what I do now, because of what I'm aware, is I actually turn my phone off when I put it in my pocket, just for extra protecting me. But we do need to have these devices around, but we just need to be smart and be aware of what to do. And there's actually people out there now as a business, they come into your home. We have a gal on our board at Idaho for Safe Technology. If you're listening to the show, you want to call in and get her number, I'll give it to you. She actually goes out and measures. She measures and she goes in, and sure enough, it's the Wi-Fi, it's a baby monitor. I mean, how crazy is this? I hear there's diapers with Bluetooth in them. They'll tell the mother, hey, the baby's wet his diapers. Has the baby pooped? No, come on, you can smell it. Of course he has. But no, there's Bluetooth. Yeah, the baby pooped. That is nuts. That's how insane we've got on these devices.
Yeah. That's how crazy. That is how crazy. And you had mentioned about wearing, cell phones in the pocket, and I see women putting them in their bras. Right. I have read that the fastest growing cancer in men ages 15 to 35 is testicular cancer.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We've been interviewing Ming Lovejoy of Gia Wellness Products, talking about tools and ways to mitigate the damage caused by electromagnetic radiation from cell towers and cell phones, Wi-Fi, and so forth. We got a lot more information on the website at livingwaterscleanse.com. Click on treatments, go down electromagnetic radiation protection. You'll see all the information there. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned. You've been listening to the Whole Body Detox Show from Living Waters Wellness Center. Phone number is 208-378-9911. You can't treat the body and heal it a piece at a time. You have to treat the whole body naturally. That's why Living Waters Wellness Center 10-day healing retreat is so successful in helping what I call the incurables back to wellness. Here's what a few clients had to say about their experience at Living Waters Wellness Center.
For over a year, I've been dealing with gas pains, stomach pains, and it's been waking me up in the middle of the night, so I never get a full night's rest. And last night, after my first colonics, I slept through the entire night without any stomach pain or any kind of issues.
I suffered from migraine headaches for 12 years, once a month, and since I did the 10-day retreat at Living Waters Wellness Center 8 years ago, I have not even had a migraine. I've not even had a headache.
I had back pain on my left side for about 25 years. After the 10-day healing retreat, the pain is completely gone.
To learn more about the 10-day healing retreat, go to healingtheincurables.com or call the office at 208-378-9911. That's 208-378-9911. The preceding examples may not be typical of your experience and may not be right for you. Seek the opinion of a qualified healthcare professional before determining if cleansing is right for you.
Welcome back. David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center, livingwaterscleanse.com, where miracles begin by healing from within. We're talking today with Ming Lovejoy of Gia Wellness, and we'll be talking about how to mitigate the damages caused by electromagnetic radiation. You'll find more information on our website at livingwaterscleanse.com. Click on treatments, follow the link down to electromagnetic radiation therapy. If you happen to miss any portions of this show and want to re-listen to it, go to our podcast at wholebodydetoxshow.com or simply type in the words Whole Body Detox Show on any national podcast platform.
Wow.
And
there's a lot of people can't get pregnant. We see it here.
Infertility is actually a big issue. I didn't even mention that when I listed the whole host, but there is. And, I don't know if your readers are probably familiar with the Bioinitiative report, which first came out in 2007, was kind of updated in 2012, but that's over 2,000 independent studies by doctors who are researchers, experts in their field, from cancer, heart disease, infertility, immunology, neurologics and, behavior, metabolic diseases, diabetes, all of these things on the effects of electromagnetic fields on those illness.
It's a big deal. In Hank's neighborhood, it's affected about 17 homes. In Pittsfield, Massachusetts, there are 20 homeowners who cannot live in their homes anymore. Tower is actually quite a bit away, I think about 300 yards. But these people, I think 3 or 4 have cancer, the rest have other issues. But yeah, 20-some homes. The local government there issued a cease and desist to Verizon, and that's been an ongoing thing. And of course, Verizon said, no, nothing to see here. But yet I interviewed, you'll love this, I interviewed Dr. Kent Chamberlain. Now, here's a guy who worked in industry all his life. Now he teaches in New Hampshire at a university. So the governor there said, hey, let's do a study. Is there really harm on these things? So he got paneled 13 scientists, and they went to work. And I asked Dr. Chamberlain, I said, did you think this would be a big deal? He says, no, I thought we'd be done in 2 or 3 months and find no harm and blah, blah, blah. But 18 months later, 18,000 studies show that they do cause harm. And another thing that offers up the proof for this, if you're still a doubting Thomas out there, the Environmental Health Trust, they've got all those studies on their site. They put that in the evidence when they sued the FCC, and they won that lawsuit. And that decision was made August 13th, 2021, where the DC Court of Appeals, 3 judges said to the FCC, you've been arbitrary, capricious, and illegal. Your 1996 Telecommunications Act stated they were safe. They're not safe. Your study was flawed. We remand this back to you. Bring us back your safety data. Have they done it? No. This is the 5th, I think, major lawsuit the FCC has lost. Of course, they're a captured agency. No one's holding them accountable unless it's we the people, who there's quite a few of us now starting to take them to task. But it's like pushing a boulder up a mountain. But we're going to get there. I truly believe we have to, or we don't exist. We can't keep doing this unsafely. We can't kill all our bees. We can't. It's caused cows' milk production to decrease. 25 countries have outlawed 5G towers. I mean, it goes on and on. It's a real big deal. So that was back in, I think, podcast number, if you want to listen, guys, 43. I've done 5 shows on cell towers.
Well, and David, I just want to say, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, and committed citizens can change the world, because indeed that's the only thing that ever has. And that's, of course, Margaret Mead. And what we're here today talking about is, how do we connect the dots for ourselves, and how do we empower ourselves and our families? Because that's where it starts, right?
Starts there. Yeah. You need the education. So guys, you're listening to this, livingwaterscleanse.com. Under treatments, electromagnetic frequency, go check that out. We'll have all the details there. And also, if you want to purchase them, they're there in the store. You'll have a link to that on the store. Plus, in the show notes on the podcast, I'll have all the different links and Ming's information and all of the information that we've been talking about today, because it's been quite a long list. So basically, anything that's got electricity, let's talk about dirty electricity. Okay. What does that mean? What do you mean dirty electricity?
Well, dirty electricity are, when the energy goes through the wires, whether it's on the high power lines outside your home, or even if it's in your home, there are erratic spikes and surges. And what that does is, when it runs through, it actually, it can actually disrupt your electronic devices, right? I mean, that's one reason why you have a surge protector, right? And that you want to plug into a surge protector. Well, guess what? Your body is an electrical system as well. Right. And it's really important. In fact, your heart, and you've been talking a lot about heart issues today, and atrial fibrillation and all kinds of heart issues. Well, your heart is a highly sensitive bioelectric organ. Every cell of your body is bioelectric. So it can actually cause disruptions in every cell of your body. And I always say, cells, you're a community of 70 trillion cells, say, and cells make up tissues that make up organs, that make up organ systems, that make up your organism. So as goes the cell, so goes the whole. And that's the connection. So what we want to do is look at, we might look at our concerns, because we're concerned about this for our families or our children or our grandchildren, people we love and care about, or we're really trying to solve or resolve a health issue, improve a health issue. That's a great place to start, whether it's a sensitivity, a food sensitivity, an allergy, a skin thing, or a, anxiety disorder, or brain fog, or headaches, whatever that is, to really start and begin connecting the dots for yourself, because that is empowering. And I guarantee you there are solutions. I've worked with literally thousands of people with these products specifically over, oh my gosh, almost 15 years now, and seen completely life transforming, results with people. Just, I know, David, you've probably seen some amazing things too.
Well,
so yeah,
it's powerful to have it. So what do we do? What device do you have for that?
Okay, so let's talk about what I was saying. I talked about environmental. So there's 3 different areas. So how do you take this comprehensive, affordable, versatile solution and deal with things environmentally? Well, one is this fabulous little device called the Home and Office Harmonizer.
That's about a 2.5 by 2.5 inch, 1 inch device, 1.5 inches maybe.
Yeah, maybe 1.5 by 1.5, and it plugs in. what this does, this is entirely the energy resonance technology. It emits beneficial frequencies in a 120-foot coverage area through walls, floors, and ceilings. So that means wherever this is, even if it's not plugged in. So the plug-in actually is a secondary benefit where it works on the dirty electricity from the circuit it's plugged into. But even without being plugged in, this still emits the beneficial frequencies 60 feet in every direction through walls, floors, and ceilings. And one of my favorite stories.
So back up. So 60 feet up, 60 feet down, 60 feet to the right, 60 feet to the left. Oh, I thought it was 30 feet. So that's
120-foot bubble.
Wow.
Yep. So, and a fun story, I've got a bunch of consultants who lived in, went back and forth with relatives in South Korea, and they were visiting one of their relatives, and they're all, squished in these little apartments and condos and whatever. And nobody was sleeping because the baby would wake up at 2 a.m. and start screaming and keep everybody awake. So they show up with the home harmonizer, plug it in, and the baby downstairs starts sleeping through the night forever.
Get out. That's incredible.
That's what happens. And really, really important because, the wiring in our rooms is usually about 3 feet off the ground, which is about the level we have our pillows at. So really, really good to sleep with one plugged in against your, the wall where your headboard is. Because as we know, sleep is your rest, repair, restore time. All your organ systems are cleaning house and detoxing and repairing. And you want to make sure to optimize your sleep. And other stories, I just have people who didn't sleep well, start sleeping well, children as well, just calmer, going to bed, just that. So the home and office harmonizer is a great one for home, office, and anywhere you have a real sort of concentration of electronics and devices.
Wow, that's incredible. Now I've got one for my car.
Yes, there we go.
There you go. Tell me about that one. That one seems, you give a guy this, you put it in your car, and it's not plugged into anything. How's that little gizmo working?
Well, the way this little gizmo works, it's a clever little fella. Very clever fella.
Just to explain, it's about a 3-inch long, maybe 2.5-inch long.
Yeah, maybe a couple inches, something like that. Yeah. And it's actually a fob, so you can attach it to your keychain or just keep it. I keep one in my purse. I keep it when I travel. It actually does 3 things. The most important, I feel, is this part here has the technology in it. So it's got the molecular resonance effect technology, the missile defense system for EMF, and it's got the energy resonance technology, or ERT, which is your biofield bodyguard. That's really all about supporting and strengthening your energetic system. So this and the technology on here is in this sort of little decal.
Right.
It lasts for 2 years, and then all you need to do is buy another decal. So
that's it.
Yeah, all you do, and the decal's like $40-50. I mean, it's not much.
Wow.
It does have some secondary and tertiary benefits. One is it is a little LED flashlight. It was working a second anyway, my LED flashlight. And it also is a solar charger with connections so that you could charge your devices. Oh. So I just use it. I keep it and use it really only for the protection. But some people also call this a personal defender or a personal shield. And I know people who use it. I put them on my kids' backpacks when they went to school, or in their backpacks. They're all out of school now, but we always did. And I know people who use it, when they're on their baby strollers. Have some great stories about this device, but it's, very portable and great to travel with. It should go with you on any airplane or any public transportation.
Can I put that in my truck? I have a little, what do you call it? The console. Yeah. Can I put it in the console? Still work?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And how big of an area does that surround me with? I mean,
this is actually 24 feet. So you're great on
24-foot bubble.
24-foot bubble. Yep. And 24-foot bubble.
Incredible.
It's got a little LED flashlight.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
can. Yeah.
So that's the car harmonizer. Also, so that's kind of in the environmental category, and then we can talk a little bit about body worn devices and the pendant.
Yes.
just one of the sort of beautiful designs. I'll just say this, I've got it on a big green thing because I test people's biofields with it. But this is what we call the classic pendant.
Right.
So it's a surgical stainless, it's a disc. This technology lasts forever. That's the energy resonance technology. And this literally provides energetic food and nourishment for your body, your biofield, for your energetic system. And I actually, if you want me to share my...
It's the size of a silver dollar, I would say.
Yep. Yeah, about right about that.
Mine never comes off.
No, mine comes off at night, and I'll either put it next to my bed. I mean, that's a great place for it. I will say, if somebody doesn't want to wear something around their neck, and pins his in his pocket. I know women who pin them in their bra, so that it's a fabulous. It's just
a good idea.
I call this, and I call all of these wellness essentials for the wireless world, but they really are. This is a time where, let's put it this way. To how many people is this essential, right? Your cell phone, your computer, your internet. You're now paying for, a subscription for internet. We didn't used to do that. And these are essentials. Well, these are modern day wellness essentials, including the pendant. So body worn. There are other forms of body worn. There are, we have smart sleeves for inflammation and discomfort, the back sleeve, and these contain the energy this is the back sleeve, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's I'm just sort of show it like.
Now, why would you wear that? Is that because you have an injury that's in the back, or an injury on your knee or elbow?
Exactly.
And you put that on, and that's going to help with the current in your body, if you will, to help it heal faster.
It's going to help with inflammation. It's going to help with circulation. And this is a knee sleeve, and it contains the energy resonance technology and far infrared stitching. So any of the white stuff is far infrared, which works really on cellular repair, circulation. It's anti-inflammatory, and people swear by these. I mean, I know people who, don't even put this on their knee, but they might put it on their back or on their belly if they have, some gut irritation, and get significant results. I mean, people with, surgeries and, broken things that repair considerably faster than they would have repaired, because what these frequencies do is literally accelerate repair in your body. So those are some of that body worn. We also do have some smart strips, which are some neoprene strips with some adhesive, double-sided adhesive. You can apply those to wrists. They have little dots you can put here and there as well. And I didn't bring those out today. So those are some of the body worn products that are really significant. And then, of course, the ones we talked about is, on your devices, on your cell phone, on your computer, on your laptop, on your wireless router, on your home automation system, on your Bluetooth in your car, things like that. There are ways that you can, on your smart meter, there are products that can be placed on those. So that's kind of in this category of EMF protection. And I know, David, I think you had asked me if you wanted to talk systemically about how to actually accelerate everything and magnify it all by drinking supercharged.
Right. We want to talk about. So guys, if you're listening to the show, I have lovely Ming Lovejoy on here talking about how to protect yourself in the electromagnetic frequency world. And so over the website, livingwaterscleanse.com, click on treatments, drop down to electromagnetic frequency. We'll have all the details there. And the products are in the store. If you want to purchase those, you can go there. They're very, very, very affordable, from $43 up. Depending on what you need. But we're talking about shielding and getting your body in coherence with our electromagnetic environment. Great tool. And let's talk about water, because we're at Living Waters. We're using water all the time, hydrating the colon, cleaning it out, but most people are dehydrated, including me. It's been my biggest crux over the years is staying hydrated. And I think it's 99% of people's problem, I think.
It absolutely is. And I think, I don't know if you know Dr. Zach Bush, but he talks about there's a new definition to hydration. It's not just drinking water. It's making sure that water gets inside of your cells, right? So important. So people are drinking.
What do you mean get inside your cells? But do I drink water? Does it get there automatically? What's happening?
It's inside your body. But how many people out there, how many of you drink water like, tons of water and then just find yourself running to the bathroom all the time. Right. And that's what we're finding. And I ask my naturopathic doctors, I ask a lot of practitioners I work with, is do you have people who are drinking plenty of water and they're still showing signs of dehydration? And they all say yes. And do you want to know why that is? You want me to kind of jump into it?
Yeah.
A little bit? Yeah. Well, there are some, I'm going to just see how it works to show this. This is actually some new sort of scientific discoveries about water. And the first is that we are all born basically the cell, we understand something now. A Nobel Prize was won in 2003 by I can't remember what his field exactly was, but he was from University of North Carolina or something like that. Dr. Peter Ager. And what he discovered was the plumbing system on our cell membrane. Okay. So we can be drinking water, and if that water doesn't get converted properly, it doesn't get into the cell. The cell is the energy factory. That's where everything happens. So we can drink water that just goes through us and we go to the bathroom. Or and naturally our bodies should be able to take water that we drink and convert it to the superhydrating form. So here's the issue, is water that we drink is now in clumps and clusters of H2O molecules. They're actually bonded. So H2O, H2O, H2O. So they're a large clump and a cluster. Your cell membrane can't absorb it that way. Your cell membrane has a plumbing system, and it's called the aquaporin, like water pore, just like the pores on your skin. And it can only take one water molecule across at a time, David. So our bodies used to, when they weren't so encumbered by all of the jobs they had to do and all of the protecting they had to do of themselves, the cell membrane is now hardened to protect itself from the environment because it picks up on all of these non-native frequencies and just, is trying to shield itself or protect itself. Well, so our hydration mechanism has been really messed with. And so what can we do about that, right? So here's what we can do about that. What we're going to do is connect a few dots. Number one, it's really important to know that Japanese anti-aging research in the 90s showed that actually when we're born, we've got about 80% of this single file aligned water in our bodies. So that means instead of being in big clumps and clusters, the H2O molecules are lined up like a strand of pearls. What that means, look how hydrated babies are. Look how beautiful they are.
Right.
And,
perfect. Yeah.
And they get a little scratch and they're healed. Like if you notice, they heal in like 15 minutes. I mean, it already starts to repair. That's a function of hydration. Repair is a function of energy produced inside the cell. And as a result of hydration, cell-to-cell communication, improved apoptosis, improved, autophagy, or improved apoptosis is cell death. That is expediting that. What's happened is all of those systems have slowed down living in our wireless world. And so what we can do now is this water this is the form of the water we drink. It's actually bonds, hydrogen bonds that clump water together. And some people out there may have heard of microclustered water as the thing, or hexagonal water, right? A hexagonal water is just breaking this big thing down into a clump of 6. Okay, that's better than this, because when this hits the cell membrane, it can't get in. But when single file water hits the cell membrane, it gets in without any impediment, and all of the natural processes can happen. And that is what this device does. So this is called IH2O, which
what she's showing here, guys, is a picture with a special gizmo on top that structures this water, right?
Exactly. And this special gizmo is kind of where the magic is. Inside of this is a patented polymer, which is the cousin of the MRET technology. We talked about molecular resonance effect technology. This is the sister, let's call it, of that. And some organic and inorganic compounds and some lights and things like that. When this is plugged in, I'll show you really quickly, just so that you can see it.
Yeah, just to explain, it's probably about a 4-inch high and it sits
Yeah,
on top of this pitcher, this little plastic pitcher,
it's on top. And the
and
whole, yeah, go ahead.
and then and you press a button on top, and it does its thing.
It does its thing, and the light will flash. What that light is doing is flashing, not only so I can see it and it automatically shuts itself off in 30 minutes, but also to activate the polymer on the inside, the polymer that's related to the molecular resonance effect technology. We call it SFA, which stands for single file alignment. And in a 30-minute activation time, so 30 minutes, this beautiful device, I press the button, I can leave it on the counter, just shuts itself off, and then I've got single file aligned water. It is the only patent, this is the only patent on the single file activation of liquids. So it takes clumps of H2O molecules and turns them into a linear structure that is 3 times more hydrating to the body. They did bioimpedance analysis. So you drink a half liter of this, and in 40 minutes, you got a liter and a half of intracellular fluid. That's where you want your water, is inside your cells. Also it's anti-inflammatory, it's antibacterial, antifungal, it has antiviral properties. It also helps your body regulate its own pH. It helps with digestion. It literally helps impede the production of callus cells. That's related to conditions like psoriasis, eczema. So we found amazing benefits with any kind of skin condition, irritation, any type of skin repair, and internal organ repair as well. I've seen amazing things. People in liver failure whose like cellulitis and skin dramatically improves. So it's just a very, very powerful wellness essential for our wireless world, because it works systemically in our bodies to help us also detox the effects of the radiation that we're exposed to on a day-to-day basis. David?
So to paint a picture, what I hear you saying then is this clump that's happening. It'd be like taking a beach ball and trying to put it into a cell versus taking a needle and piercing the cell wall to get the hydration into the cells. As you mentioned, 50 to 70 trillion cells in our body. And yes, most people, I think babies are at 90% water when they come to Earth. And by the time we die, we're down to 70% or less. And you're talking about brain issues, fat and water. If you want to keep your brain well, fat, water, and keep away the heavy metals. Those are the 3 big things that you need to do.
Those are really, really important. So what we do is, and now every single container from GIA is charged with the energy resonance technology, but this is the ERT charged 20 ounce glass drinking bottle that comes with the activation system.
And what's special about that water? I know it's glass, right?
Well, yeah, what's special about this this bottle and the sleeve is that both of them are charged with the energy resonance technology, which literally, if they're even near my body, are going to help feed and nourish my body's energy system with energetic frequencies.
That's in the glass? That's in the bottle?
In everything, every,
Holy.
even these, the spray bottles, then there's
Right.
3 different size spray bottles that come with the eye water. It's amazing to use topically on your skin, bee stings, bug bites, anything. But so the benefits of the water are multifold, and why I, really emphasize it, and I think you do too, because you wanted to share this today, David, is that your body is an entire system, and how can we support our body systemically to help detox or to hydrate, detox properly, energize, because literally this water has been shown to help the mitochondria inside your cell, that's the energy factories, produce more energy. How cool is that?
Yeah, no, and we talk about the 4 natural laws, clean the colon, clean the small intestine, clean up the blood, and then give it the perfect nutrition, and you've got it, and you got to get to the cells. And at the end of the day, those cells are what make you go.
Yep.
Trillion plus engines.
Exactly. And cleaning up your blood, one of the big things now that's going on is because of all the electromagnetic fields in our environments, the electrostatic pressure between red blood cells that keeps them separated, kind of bouncy,
right,
repelling one another, just like negative magnets, is collapsing. So what we see is coagulated blood in something called rouleau effect, rolled up like Rolo candies or something. But blood that's aggregated and stuck, which becomes an environment, it creates acidity in the blood. That's not good. It's environment for, parasites and all kinds of problems. It also creates sluggish blood. So, there's some who have sort of connected even higher incidence of stroke and heart attacks with this phenomenon of the red blood cells just collapsing. This water, literally, we've seen it even in as little as 15 minutes, to even 15 minutes to an hour, literally restoring that beautiful, bouncy red blood cell clean environment.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
Guys, you guys, look, go to the website, livingwaterscleanse.com. You're going to want to listen to this podcast twice. There's so much information she landed on us today. I'm going to put a lot of information in the show notes on the podcast, and wherever you get your podcasts at, you'll be able to grab that there. This is going to be episode 102. So definitely go grab that information over the podcast. So very important, protect yourself. We need these little inexpensive devices on our phones. We need them on our laptops. We need them on our computers. We need them on our hair dryers. We need them on our vacuum cleaners. I mean, we're getting bombarded from all this stuff. We need the stuff to put our bubble, the electrical bubble we have, 120-foot bubble. We got the stuff from the cars, crazy stuff in the cars these days. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth was bad enough. Now Wi-Fi, oh my goodness. So there's so many things coming at us. And I know people that some cars they can't get into. I drive a 1999 Ford truck. It doesn't have any of the technology. I love it. I still got my device, though. I still got my device protecting me or helping to, I guess we want to call this more of a coherence device. Because some people, well, is this a blocker? It's not a blocker. Let's talk about that for a minute. That's just really important.
Great. Thank you. And David, really, this might help people understand, because it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed with claims that are made by other companies.
Right.
Like, which device do I buy? So basically there are, I want to say, 5 categories of products, and I'll just go briefly about them and the pros and cons.
Okay.
First, there are products like, that call themselves filters. Filters are, there's some benefits to filters. The one that I like the best is called the Stetzer filter. It's actually, close to, they have to be plugged in. So they're not, it's not like you can take it with you, but it's maybe plugged in where you've got some heavy EMFs in your environment or your office or something like that. The only downside of it, so the downsides are, it doesn't travel with you, but the other is it actually produces more electromagnetic fields where it's, doing that conversion process. So you need to keep that kind of away from you. There also are products that claim to shield. And I think some of these are, the products that claim to, and I think like the cases that claim to, there's Defender Shield, and I think there's some other ones, but they claim to shield half part of your device. Have you seen those? There's the ones,
which makes no sense. If you're going to shield it, how do you get your frequency?
Well, I want to say they've got some pretty slick marketing, because, and I just want you to think about this, because the way those work, and there's one that's a case for a phone, and it claims to, shield you. Well, what they are basically some kind of silver mesh or a shield that prevents the electromagnetic fields from going one side, because otherwise, I mean, if it shielded the whole thing, and we're going to talk about blockers in a minute, it would literally block the signal. So if it's shielding half of your device, and you're on your phone like this, you might be protecting your head, but your hand's getting it, and so is your loved one, your child or your grandchild or your husband or wife or whatever. So those, and same with the ones that claim, they'll put a shield underneath your laptop, and then you can put it on your lap. Well, you're still getting all the radiation. So those are, that's, just be wary of shields. I think some of their advertising is the slickest, because I think some people are just buying this and they're not like really thinking their way through it. But just keep in mind, that is not a complete solution. It's not a comprehensive solution. It's only a partial solution to eliminate exposure to part of your body. The next are blockers. And these you want to be this is a whole interesting category, because if something does block radiation, David and audience here, if it blocks radiation, your device won't work. Okay, so your signal can't be transmitted and received. Great that there's some times that you want that. I frankly want to be able to use my devices. I want that freedom, and I want to be safe. And I have found solutions like these that work. So if it's going to block, then you're going to realize you're not going to be able to use it. Alternatively, you may find that some companies claim that their devices block radiation. Be very, very careful. Unless it is a true blocker, they are literally lying to you. They are misrepresenting their product and saying it blocks EMF. So you can't block EMF unless you block the signal entirely. And the other downfall or downside of something that claims to block is that it actually can increase your exposure to radiation. So if I have this in a blocker and it's still trying to send and receive a signal, which it will do because that's how powerful these signals are. That's why when you go out into the woods, your signal strength might be really low, but your signal's still trying to get to you. You're actually getting more radiation.
Right. Yeah, when the battery's lower, you're getting more radiation. Yes,
you're getting more radiation. So that's the blockers. Then there are the products that claim to harmonize, and these are wonderful. And this is very similar to one of our technologies called the energy resonance technology. Those are the ones that usually you'll read something and you're like, what does that really say? And the net is that they say it protects and safeguards. But really all it's doing is harmonizing. So it's frequencies that nourish and feed your body's energetic fields. It's not actually doing anything to the radiation. But the net effect is by supporting your body's, energy system in the presence of radiation. There's a net, benefit, or at least that they're claiming. Those are harmonizers. So filters, shields, blockers, harmonizers, and then there's GeoWellness, which is in a category all by itself. And that is because we have these 3 technologies. The molecular resonance effect technology, which is a patented noise field radiation shield, is actually what the patent says. And the energy resonance technology, which is literally a biofield enhancing technology, and the single file alignment, the SFA, that's here in producing this water. And these three technologies are actually in 4 categories of products. The energy category that we've talked about today, and the way you can protect your environment and your body, body worn and device specific. Also in water, also in some nutritional products. The single file alignment and the energy resonance technology actually boost the ability of cleanse products and super antioxidant, vitamin products like the iThrive, and even sleep formulas like the iRest or the Motion Plus. It enables these to actually get into the cells more rapidly and promote cellular repair and cell-to-cell communication more rapidly. And then the 4th category is skin. And I'll just say we've got a cleanser and an exfoliant, and I call this is my favorite dynamic duo. It's called the Hydra Surge, and it is a fabulous duo of a fluid and a serum. And then even in the other nutritional categories, we've got like Heart Fit, which is a fabulous adaptogenic herbs with energy resonance technology, and that supercharges the bioavailability of the nutrients. And the Gia Edge as well, which is a stress formula. And this is kind of a funny, this is the smart card, which mine is just all beat up, but it looks like it's a little aluminum card, and this is in the nutritional category, and you can, it's like a pendant for your food. And I should have had a nice fancy one out here, but I don't think I do today. But this is a smart card, which is like a pendant for your food. So you can put your supplements on it or put it in your refrigerator, and it actually helps keep your fruits and vegetables fresh longer and helps increase the bioavailability, balance the pH in those foods, and help the nutrients get accelerated.
Well, thankfully we have technology to help protect us from ourselves because we need it for all the reasons that we mentioned here on the show today. So guys, again, you probably want to listen to the show a couple of times because there was so much information. But to speed up some of that, go to livingwaterscleanse.com, click on treatments, and then dive down to where it says electromagnetic frequency. And then, of course, all these products are in the store. And this is the best thing to do, is invest in your wellness, invest in your protection, your well-being, by protecting the electromagnetic frequencies and the dirty electricity, and get the water hydrating your body versus just pouring through it. Very important to do those. So Ming, that's an incredible amount of information you gave us today. I learned a lot of brand new things. I'm going to listen to the show again for certain. Is there anything that we forgot? Have we covered it all?
I think we may cover it all. I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. And I just want people to remember that really you are your best investment. You are the center of the world for those people who, you love and who you care for. And that's the reason you want to do it. Do it for yourself and do it for the ones you love, because, really, like Margaret Mead said, is that, a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can change the world. It's the only thing that ever had. So
yes, and the listeners on this show, there's a lot of people that are very active and concerned about what's going on in our country, and rightly so. And it all begins with us. And we, the people, have to take action to do all the things to protect our freedoms and our abilities to survive on Earth. And the best thing you got to do, number one, you got to have your health. You can't do anything unless you have your health.
Yeah. And you can completely, I'm just going to say, I've so many stories of people restoring their health. I was one. We didn't even talk testimonials today. We could do a whole nother call on testimonials.
Yeah, we could. You got a couple of things that stand out?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'll just share for myself. When I started with these, I was homeschooling my kids. I was exhausted all the time. I was addicted to caffeine. My digestion wasn't working. I was, and after lunch every day, I would be catatonic. And I was like, it was almost like if the house burned down, whatever, the kids were doing whatever. And when I started on these products, wearing the pendant, it helped my focus and my mental clarity. I was very sort of ADHD symptoms before that, really, really helped that. And then so much so that even my coaches, I was a horseback riding, not semi-professional, but, an amateur at high levels. And my coaches noticed that and they ended up, getting all these products. But the other was, for me, the water. And I noticed that I could actually drink water and in about 15 minutes have a natural energy boost, not a hyper energy boost, but a natural energy boost. And that's what I started doing. And over time, in combination with some of these nutritionals, the super antioxidant vitamin, amino acid, I Thrive and Cleanse, and the stress formula Edge, I will just say my whole system turned around. My fragile immune system was no longer fragile. I hadn't had I used to get bronchial and sinus infections consistently. They completely disappeared. I had my kids on all of these, our kids on all these products, and they got, before constant cold sores. Their cold sores cleared up until they weren't. And it actually I'll just tell you, my kids didn't ever get sick anymore. So we never had that bonding time of kids home sick from school. So we used to call them Geo Wellness Days, and we just take off and go riding.
I love it. I love it.
And that was just me and our family, but I've got literally hundreds of other testimonies as well.
Right. We'll put some of those up in the show notes and on the website, so you guys can have access to that. Love it. Protecting yourself from this dangerous technology that we all have to use. You don't, some people are living in the woods. Literally, I know people have to live in the woods. I mean, this stuff is put them out. Smart people. I've got emails recently, and you'd think this person was absolutely insane. It's just that the technology, the EMFs are making them insane. It's sad. And this is a solution, guys, to protect us, and until we can get fiber optics in the ground. Which is
connect the dots. Yeah, connect the dots for yourself, and you are important.
Right. And for those of you here in the local valley, we actually have on IowensForSafeTechnology.org. There is a list of nearly all the towers that are up, and if you look at where they're at, it's absolutely frightening and shocking. For those of you, my condolences if you have a home and they put a tower in your yard, just kick 20 to 25% of the value downwards. I had a gal today, she says, gosh, Dave, I was looking at this house and they put a tower up, and I said, whoa, we're not doing that. And she says, thankfully, I didn't put an offer in before I saw that tower go up. So let's think about, fellas, friends, ladies and gentlemen, and so forth. Thanks for being with us today, Ming. I so appreciate you coming on. You gave us a wealth of information. Guys, we're going to be back next week with another edition of the Whole Body Detox Show. I'm David DeHaas signing off from Living Waters Wellness Center, livingwaterscleanse.com. If you need to reach out to us, 208-378-9911. Make it a blessed day.
You can't treat the body and heal it a piece at a time. You have to treat the whole body naturally. That's why Living Waters Wellness Center 10-day healing retreat is so successful in helping what I call the incurables back to wellness. Here's what a few clients had to say about their experience at Living Waters Wellness Center.
For over a year, I've been dealing with gas pains, stomach pains, and it's been waking me up in the middle of the night, so I never get a full night's rest. And last night, after my first colonics, I slept through the entire night without any stomach pain or any kind of issues.
I suffered from migraine headaches for 12 years, once a month, and since I did the 10-day retreat at Living Waters Wellness Center 8 years ago, I have not even had a migraine. I've not even had a headache.
I had back pain on my left side for about 25 years. After the 10-day healing retreat, the pain is completely gone.
To learn more about the 10-day healing retreat, go to healingtheincurables.com or call the office at 208-378-9911. That's 208-378-9911. The preceding examples may not be typical of your experience and may not be right for you. Seek the opinion of a qualified healthcare professional before determining if cleansing is right for you.